What if I told you the signs were there all along, hidden in plain sight? That thinning ponytail, that sudden self-consciousness in front of the mirror, that quiet hesitation before going outside on a windy day. Most people think of hair loss and immediately picture balding men, shiny crowns exposed to the world. But the truth is far more complex and far more emotional, especially as we age. For so many older adults, hair loss isn't just a cosmetic issue. It's a slow, often painful transformation that can strike at the heart of identity, self-worth, and even health. And the hardest part, it's rarely talked about, especially when it happens to women. Why do we hide it? Why do we whisper about thinning hairlines or patchy eyebrows like they're secrets instead of symptoms? For older adults, particularly those over 60, hair loss can feel like a quiet betrayal of the self. It's not always dramatic. It doesn't always come in clumps or leave behind smooth, bald spots. Sometimes, it's subtle. A little more scalp showing through at the crown. A brush that fills up faster than it used to. A once thick braid now reduced to a thin twist. It's these quiet changes that often go unnoticed, or worse, ignored, until they become impossible to deny. Hair is so much more than protein strands. It's a symbol of youth, vitality, and confidence. When we start losing it, we're not just mourning what we see in the mirror. We're grieving the passage of time, the fading of an era, the soft erosion of our former selves. And for many, that grief is compounded by shame. Because unlike wrinkles or grey hairs, hair loss isn't always seen as a natural part of aging. It's often viewed as something that needs to be fixed, covered up, or explained. But what if we stopped seeing it as a flaw and started understanding it for what it really is? A message from the body, and sometimes, the soul. By the end of this video, you'll not only understand the deeper emotional and physical causes of hair loss after 60, but you'll also walk away with real, compassionate steps you can take. For yourself or for someone you love. Because while hair may fall, dignity doesn't have to. Let's start with the basics. What actually causes hair loss beyond just getting old? The truth is, age is just one factor. Yes, it's common for hair follicles to shrink or go dormant as we age. But there's often more going on beneath the surface. Hormones, for example, play a major role, especially in women. After menopause, estrogen levels plummet. And estrogen, as it turns out, helps keep hair in its growth phase. With less of it circulating, more hair slips into the resting phase and eventually falls out. And unlike the sharp drop men experience in hairline recession, women tend to see diffuse thinning across the scalp. It's subtle, it's slow, but it's devastating. Then there's nutrition. As we age, our appetites may decrease. We might eat less protein, fewer vitamins, or even skip meals entirely. But hair is a luxury organ. It's the last to receive nutrients and the first to lose them. If your body senses a shortage of iron, zinc, or B vitamins, it diverts resources away from hair production. That means your locks get thinner, drier, more brittle. And this kind of loss doesn't always show up right away. It can take months after a dietary deficiency for hair to start shedding. Which means by the time you notice it, the root cause may have long passed unnoticed. Let's not forget medications. Many older adults are on multiple prescriptions, blood pressure pills, cholesterol drugs, antidepressants, anticoagulants. What most people don't realize is that some of these drugs list hair thinning or shedding as a side effect. Not in big bold letters, but in the fine print. And when you're dealing with multiple health concerns, it's easy to overlook what seems like a cosmetic inconvenience. But for the person experiencing it, the impact can be crushing. Imagine going through heart surgery or cancer treatment, only to watch yourself disappear piece by piece in the mirror. Stress is another hidden culprit. Chronic stress, whether from caregiving, financial strain, illness, or isolation, can trigger a condition called telogen effluvium. It's a fancy term for stress-induced shedding, where a traumatic event shocks hair follicles into early dormancy. This can happen months after the event, making the connection difficult to trace. And while telogen effluvium is usually temporary, it can feel permanent when you're living through it. Every strand that falls becomes a reminder of something painful that hasn't healed yet. But perhaps the most under-discussed cause of hair loss in seniors is inflammation. Specifically, scalp inflammation. As we get older, our immune systems can become dysregulated. Conditions like lupus, lichen planopilaris, and frontal fibrosing alopecia are all autoimmune diseases that target the scalp. These aren't just aging. These are medical conditions that deserve diagnosis and treatment. And yet, many seniors are told to just accept it, as if losing part of your identity is something you simply tolerate. Let's talk about identity for a moment. For many women, and increasingly for men, hair isn't just a style choice. It's a deeply personal extension of who we are. It holds memories. It holds emotions. Think about it. We remember our mother's bouffant, our grandfather's comb-over, the scent of rollers heating up in the bathroom, the brushstrokes of someone who once cared for us. Hair is legacy. So when it starts falling out, it can feel like a piece of history is being erased. And it's not vain to feel that loss. It's human. Now, here's the part most people miss. Hair loss isn't always on your head. As we age, hair loss can affect the entire body. Eyebrows, eyelashes, arms, legs, even pubic hair. This widespread thinning is rarely talked about, but it's incredibly common. It's often related to thyroid disorders, autoimmune issues, or the natural decline of hormones like testosterone and estrogen. And it can impact everything from how we see ourselves in the mirror to how we feel in intimate relationships. Losing your eyelashes, for example, isn't just a beauty concern. It affects how well your eyes are protected from dust and debris. It's physical. It's functional. And yet, so often, it's dismissed. Coming up, the one moment that still brings tears to my eyes. I remember sitting with a woman in her late 70s. She had battled cancer twice, raised 3 children, and buried a husband. Her body was marked with strength, but her voice cracked when she said this. I used to have the thickest braid in town. People would stop me just to touch it. And now, I won't even go outside when it rains. That quiet loss, of confidence, of pride, of memory, wasn't about vanity. It was about grief. And it deserves compassion. If you've ever felt this way, or know someone who has, drop a comment below and share your experience. Your story might be the one that helps someone else feel seen. Because in this community, we don't judge, we honor. So what can be done? The good news is, hair loss doesn't have to be inevitable or irreversible. Start with your doctor. A thorough blood panel can reveal hidden deficiencies in iron, vitamin D, thyroid hormones, and more. These are fixable issues. With the right supplements and diet, hair growth can often improve significantly. And if you're on medications, don't be afraid to ask about alternatives. Sometimes a small switch can make a big difference. Scalp care matters, too. Many older adults use the same shampoos and products they've used for decades, not realizing that aging scalps need gentler, more nourishing formulas. Harsh sulfates, heavy silicones, and overwashing can strip the scalp of its natural oils, worsening dryness and breakage. Opt for mild hydrating shampoos and consider adding a weekly scalp massage with natural oils, like rosemary, castor, or jojoba, to stimulate circulation and soothe inflammation. Styling also plays a role. Tight buns, rollers, or heat tools can stress already fragile follicles. Looser hairstyles, silk pillowcases, and wide tooth combs can minimize breakage. And if you feel comfortable, consider consulting with a hair specialist who works with older adults, not just cosmetically, but medically. There are dermatologists and trichologists who understand the aging scalp and can offer treatments like low-level laser therapy, topical minoxidil, or even PRP injections to stimulate regrowth. And for those facing permanent hair loss, there's still hope and dignity. Wigs and hairpieces have come a long way. They're no longer the stiff, itchy hats of yesterday. Today's options are breathable, natural-looking, and empowering. But beyond the physical fix, there's an emotional journey to be had. Support groups, both in person and online, can offer connection, validation, and advice. Because when you're going through something invisible, what you need most is to be seen. There's also a shift happening in society. Slowly, but surely, more people are embracing the beauty of aging naturally, including hair loss. Celebrities, influencers, and everyday seniors are sharing their unfiltered photos, their thinning crowns, their hairless brows. And in doing so, they're rewriting the narrative. They're saying, this is what strength looks like. This is what resilience looks like. And it's beautiful. If this reminded you of someone, share it with a friend. You never know who needs to hear it. Maybe it's your mother. Maybe it's your husband. Maybe it's you. Because hair loss isn't just about hair. It's about change. It's about transition. And in every strand we lose, there's a chance to find something deeper, acceptance, courage, and a kind of beauty that doesn't fade with time. Not all loss is visible, but with grace, understanding, and community, we can carry it with pride.